Hi everyone, Religious Fanboy here again. Um, I'm gonna be working on catching up on the anime devotion lesson videos for these past 2 semesters. It's been crazy. Uh, Graduated. Woo. Um, so I'm going back and going through Touken Ranbu. So tonight we are covering episode 3 of Touken Ranbu, Hanamaru. I don't actually remember what the title of the episode is. Um, I really enjoyed the idea of how, um, the idea of dreams and desires and the pursuing of those and the wishing for those was portrayed in the episode. I really liked in the way that parallels what, Scripture says about God fulfilling our desires and working things towards good. Um, the episode, I highly recommend it. Animation is amazing throughout the show. Um, and um, the the themes of the ideas of and parallels of it happening in God's timing and like that timing and where desires are fulfilled and that's unfulfilled. Um, not being in the time span or schedule of us wanting them to be. Um, is or like as well as God having a plan and being able to trust that even when we don't see a way of things working out. Um, in our desired outcome. Um, we see the idea of the desired outcome occurring in ways that we didn't expect them to occur. In the first story of the episode, where Arantio, probably mispronounced his name, but his goal is he admires another sword warrior, Guisimaru, um, and just wants a reason to talk to him. Um, and like feels like he needs to have a reason to talk to him. And he finds a four leaf clover that's like, oh, this is supposed to be good luck. I can give it to him and like maybe use it to start a conversation. But one of his friends asks him like, oh yeah, that's cool, but does he really need the four-leaf clover? And he said, I don't know, just hoping that this would be a good way to start a conversation. But as we um see through the interaction, um, all on Matthew's interactions with the other sword warriors throughout the first half of the episode or majority of the episode, we see him trading multiple things, um, and like giving the things he's been given by others to the next person he sees as a way of helping people. Like, like he gives, I can't remember his name right now, but he gives someone that has had a really cruddy day the 4-leaf clover that he originally intended for Oguisamaro. He gave it to someone who needed it instead. Um, and that's the first of many times. Like, he gives a medical book to that I got from Yayorozu to Yagen. Um, and then Yagen gives in exchange gives him cold medicine, which is used to cure I can't remember his name. Is his name also Yayorozu? It might be. Um, and it like cured his hangover, and then like that goes on until in exchange for a tractor. Yeah. Yes. Um. Um. He is given castella, which is cake. Um. That he eats and with and is able to talk to Ugui tomorrow, and they even get like a picture taken together. Um, and then and the second theme that is focused primarily more on the like dreams, like further goes on the idea of dreams and desires taking a longer time, like even though it is part of God's plan, not always, it just might not occur in our according to our desired schedule. Is in the second story where all the sword warriors are at the citadel are curious about what type of tree um it is, because they haven't seen it bloom or anything, and they can't identify the tree otherwise, like in another way. Um, so Yayusada um comes up with the idea of writing a bunch on a bunch of cards, um wishes from the sword warriors, specifically, well, one's, it is initially for there to be cherry blossoms, and then kind of brought up in like conversations leading up to the thing with the tree. um we hear about like certain swords or sword warriors that aren't at the citadel yet, that have like family connections through either the maker or the owner of the swords, that that certain people miss, well, specifically Ichigo, who a lot of, up until he's introduced in the show, we hear a lot about like people missing him, and I can't remember his name right now. But there's another younger sword warrior that has an older brother that is yet to have come to the Citadel. But which with the cards we find out that the backside of them is pink, so it looks like they're cherry blossoms on the tree once people have hung them up on the trees. And towards the end of the episode, we see like the first buds, um, first blossoms and first buds of like cherry blossoms growing, and we see also what Yai Yasada wrote on his, wanting to be able to be strong to protect Soji, and with these other wishes and how they're carried out through the show, in the events that take place later on in the season, we see how these dreams do come true. Most of the dreams come true about the Sword Warriors, the Mist siblings coming to the Citadel. But also we, with context of the rest of the show, see how dreams are either like our desires and hopes don't come until later on, or maybe ever, but that's okay, because God is with us in both the sunny skies and the cloudy ones, and God has a plan, and if we are able to lean on God's understanding and not our own, we will be able to see the good that is coming from God's plan and desires for our lives. And I want to close this passage of scripture out, this video out, with passage of scripture, specifically Romans 8, verses 28 and 29. Actually, just verse 28. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to the purpose for them. I'm gonna read until verse 30. For God knew his people in advance, and he chose them to become like his son, so the son would be the firstborn among many brothers and sisters. Actually, I want to focus primarily on verse 28. This is talking about the oneness and the people, and the Romans chapter 8 primarily talks about the relationship we have with God and Jesus. Um, and this Romans 28 specifically talks about God causing all things to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Um, Something that I think is very important to remember is the phrasing of, in this translation, it says, according to his purpose for them, which this could be interpreted to mean that there will be times where our idea of what's good and God's idea of what's good will intertwine. And though it might not happen at the time that we expect or desire, or in the way we thought, God does want good things to happen to us, but also understanding that God's definition of what is good for us, especially with the idea of God having a plan already prepared for us and having knowledge of things yet to come, um, means that his idea of what's good for us in the long run will be different from what's good for us or feels good to us in the present. And with that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your week. Um, I hope and pray that you took away from this episode and the lesson and the scripture, um, whatever God intends for you to take from them. And with that being said, um, there should be a discussion question animatic, possibly Friday, for this week's, for this to go along with the episode and the lesson video in this lesson video. If you haven't watched the episode yet, it is the sub for this show is available on Crunchyroll, and the dub is available on Funimation. And with that being said, may God be with you, and I will see you next time. Bye.